Good morning, LA. It's breakfast time. My name is Andy Cahill, and I'm here to discover the very best breakfast that Los Angeles has to offer. On this week's episode, we're having the breakfast quesadilla from Studio City's own Aroma Coffee and Tea. Over the past couple weeks, we've been getting our food and bringing it back here to the studio. But this week, we're gonna try something a little bit different. I'm personally still not quite ready to eat at a restaurant yet. Coronavirus is still out there, and the numbers here in California continue to go up despite the fact that things are reopening. That's not what this channel is about, but it is important to understand why we're not gonna be eating at a restaurant. What we're gonna do instead is take our food and go to a park right around the corner from Aroma, making this the very first breakfast time on the road. Let's go get some breakfast. Let's go eat. All right, everyone, here I am. I'm at this beautiful park here in Studio City, right down the street from the restaurant, and I have the breakfast quesadilla. The first thing to know when you are looking at this quesadilla is that there's two types of cheeses in here. We have Monterey Jack cheese and a cheddar cheese. So once again, just like last week, we had the two different cheeses. We have that again here. We also have the spinach. So we have some greens in here, very LA. So we got some spinach in here. And then we obviously have our scrambled eggs. Definitely a simple construction here, but there are ingredients in here that you wouldn't expect to get in something like the gold standard of the New York City bodega breakfast sandwich. But with all that being said, it's time to take a bite. One bite down, and it's really, really fabulous. It really is fabulous. I mean, the double cheese, for the second week in a row, the double cheese is really bringing so much. I mean, the Monterey Jack, it gives it a little bit of a different flavor than your straight cheddars that you might get normally. And the spinach is really giving us a lot in terms of texture, because you get a little bit of that stem, and it gives you a little bit of a crunch in the middle, but not like an unpleasant crunch, because we've all been eating foods that shouldn't crunch, and then they crunch, and it's disturbing. It feels like it's fresh, you know? I mean, I think that's really the big thing with this, is that at no point do you feel like these are cheap ingredients. It comes with these three different dipping options. So, you know, these are pretty basic. You have sour cream, you have some pico de gallo here, and you've got guacamole. So let's try each one of these right now and see if they add anything to the flavor of this quesadilla. I'm gonna start with the sour cream. I have no idea if this is homemade or store-bought, so we're just gonna go in and see what it has to offer. A couple of interesting things that I just learned with that bite. Number one, distribution of ingredients isn't as good as I thought it was on the first bite. When I picked up this middle piece, I noticed that there is another ingredient that I didn't mention when I was going over the description before, and that is grilled chicken. I've taken 2 bites of this part of the quesadilla, and I did not notice it. So when we do the ratings back in the studio, that's gonna be noteworthy. I'm gonna give this middle piece a chance with the sour cream and see if the distribution of ingredients in the center works a little bit better with the sour cream. It's sour cream. It kind of does what you would expect with a quesadilla. So let's see how the pico de gallo holds up. It's adding way more than the sour cream ever could. We're gonna start fresh on our third little piece here, and we're gonna dip right in to this guacamole. that was that was unexpectedly spicy. It is not spicy in the sense, you know, we're not on hot ones here. It's not that kind of spice, but it definitely has way more of a kick than you would ever expect from just a straight up guac. So we've eaten the quesadilla on its own. We've eaten the quesadilla with the sour cream, with the pico de gallo, and with the spicy guacamole. And you would think that that's more than enough from one restaurant in terms of how much food you get, but it's not. You also get a absolutely ginormous cup of fruit. So, it's fruit. They didn't do anything special to it, but we're gonna try it anyway because you deserve it. And because I need to eat more vitamins. The fruit's great. I love the portion size, and I love the fact that no matter how much I dig in here, there's no honeydew in this, which is just the potatoes of fruit. Instead of rating here, because I'm hungry and I want to eat this delicious breakfast, we're gonna kick back to the studio and give the ratings there. Whew, that was some good breakfast. All right, let's get down to these ratings. We're gonna make this nice and quick. For taste, this is a solid 8.5. Why 8.5? Well, when you get all the chicken in there, it's a 9. When you don't get any chicken, it's an 8. We settle on an 8.5. For distribution of ingredients, I'm gonna have to knock points. There was entire triangles where I wasn't getting any chicken whatsoever. And that's a bad distribution of ingredients. So I can't go more than a 7. This quesadilla is really hard to rate on the beautiful simplicity scale because it really isn't beautifully simple, but it also really isn't complex. And yet it is very good. So I'm gonna have a low number here, but it's a little bit difficult to understand. The number here is going to be a 5. The reason is that it's not beautifully simple because it has spinach and it has 2 different cheeses and it has chicken instead of something like bacon. And it's doing a lot, but it doesn't take any chances. It doesn't have any really out there flavors. The most out there thing about it is the guacamole, which has a little bit of that kick to it like we talked about during the review. So in terms of beautiful simplicity, this is a 5. Value is another place where this quesadilla is gonna suffer. I don't think I mentioned it in the review, but the quesadilla and the fruit comes to a whopping $15, which is the second most expensive thing we've had here on this channel. Now, by no means is this the most expensive breakfast product in the world, but it's difficult to accept that this thing could cost as much as 15 bucks. So on value, I'm gonna go with a 6. The only reason it's even that high is because the ingredients are so good and the portion size is so big. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys know of places in the greater Los Angeles area that have great breakfast that I need to check out, please let me know down in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you know every single time that we upload new videos. I'll see you next week on Breakfast Time.